Storytime Episode 3 Blood Red Valentine. Donate blood, you'll get a free cookie, they said. Donate blood, you'll be a hero, they said. What I got was way more than just a cookie. I sat in the white lounge, staring at the ceiling. My friend Cassie had pleaded me to come and donate blood with her, as it was going to be her first time and she was a bit nervous to go alone. So I had been a good friend and promised to go with her. It was my first time too, anyway. But when the day arrived and the clock hit 4 in the afternoon, she was nowhere to be found. What did I ever do to attain such crappy friends? I sighed and made a promise to myself to never do this again. It was Valentine's Day after all, and I had other plans soon after. The minutes dragged on, and I felt boredom drench even the last drop of my patience. Jeannie Brown? A nurse called my name. I answered and followed her to a room full of chairs that looked similar to the ones at the dentist's. Please sit here. I will be with you in a minute, she said and left me. I had gone through all the preparations and filled out the questionnaires more than a few times. Geez, this is taking forever. I had a date at 5:30, I said under my breath and looked around the room. I guess you don't have any more, said a sturdy voice from my right. I turned my head to discover a tall, dark guy standing in front of me. Excuse me? I'm Henry, here to take your blood, he answered, and I looked at his clothes and realized he had to be one of the nurses. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought the woman from earlier was my nurse. That's fine, it happens. We are all quite busy here and share patients when needed. Just sit back and relax, he said, and prepared an empty bag and inserted it to a machine of sorts, just next to the chair. I remained silent and watched him take out the necessary supplies. His appearance seemed somewhat peculiar to me. I observed faithfully as he inserted the tourniquet on my arm. Looking closer, his features fit perfectly his black curly mess of a hair. I felt somehow drawn in, like I was hypnotized. I bit my lip and told myself to focus on the task at hand. Oh, negative, he said suddenly, and glared at my info sheet. How delicious. I mean, rare, he said and gave out a freakish little laugh. I wasn't sure what to say or think, and suddenly felt even more nervous than before. Is it? I had no idea, I said. The man glanced straight at me from under his dark brows while still putting together the needle and tube combo and smiled. Exceptionally rare, he said. For a second there, I thought I saw him lick his lips and turned my head away, just as I felt my cheeks blush beyond control. This might hurt a bit, he said, again with a quick smile, and proceeded to stick the needle to my arm. I felt a slight pinch, but what felt way worse was him staring at the needle with what seemed like the stare of a rabid hound. No, I was imagining things. It was his job to make sure that the needle stayed put, and everything went accordingly. A minute passed, and he told me to clench my hand at times to speed up the process, all the while smiling and staring at my hand. I nodded. This was all too strange. At this point, I could swear he was staring at the big vein in my arm in which the needle was in. I must have looked frightened because he said, "Oh, don't worry, that happens sometimes," and then proceeded to wipe the blood with his bare fingers, bringing it to his lips and... I couldn't believe my eyes, suckling it straight up. I froze. What to do now? Should I call for help? Run? I was still attached to the needle and the machine. At this point, I was sure something wasn't right. Is something wrong? The man said, raising his brows and smiling straight at me, with a confusingly innocent look in his eyes. No, not at all, I said and instinctively bit my lip. Suddenly I noticed I had bitten my lip so hard that the skin had become brittle. "Oops," I said when I felt blood wet my lip. "I know, Miss Brown," the man said, followed by a soft chuckle. "You should be more careful with yourself, or I might have to take care of that bleeding too." He walked off and looked over his shoulder at me. I swear he was smiling too. I looked around, and as I didn't see any nurses around, decided it was time to skip donation. As I was just about to pull the needle off, another nurse, a woman this time, rushed to me and said, "Now, miss, you can't be taking that off all by yourself. It's dangerous," and pressed me back down. "But I want to leave," I called out. "You'll be able to leave as soon as the bag is full," she said in a hushed tone. "Now please, don't scare the other patients." I sat back and couldn't believe what I had just heard. The signed agreement had stated I could leave any time I would like to, and this seemed to be the opposite of that. Was everyone here out of their minds? I have a friend who was supposed to come here today as well. Can you please check if she came in already?" I said with a minor tremble in my voice. "Sure, I can, miss," the woman said and smiled from ear to ear. She left, and I felt a wave of relief as I thought my diversion attempt had succeeded. Then it suddenly hit me. What if something had happened to Cassie? No. I panicked, and my heart beat faster and faster. Suddenly, I felt like I was going to faint. The machine started beeping, and I jumped on my seat. "There you go. The bag is full," said Henry, the tall, dark nurse, once he arrived back just in time. "Thank God," I said and scolded myself right away in my head for saying it out loud. "Indeed," he said, pulled the needle out, and put up a wide grin. He gave me a bandage and told me to press hard for a few minutes. "You are free to leave now. If you feel any faintness or illness, please do call us. And take care on your way home. No heavy lifting or exercise, remember?" He said in an accustomed tone. I said, "Mm-hmm," stood up, and paced my way to the hallway. The door was only a few meters away when I noticed the floor was slippery and looked down. It was blood! A stream of red liquid spread from underneath what looked like a cleaning closet. I looked around, and no one was nearby. "What are you doing? You should leave while you still can." I hissed at myself and, disappointed, took closer to the closet. I tried the door, and it opened easily. The scene which befell my eyes was the most gruesome I had ever witnessed. Cassie's body was hanging from the cleaning rack, all bled out, blood streaming all the way to my feet. "My God!" I tried to scream, but the sound was more like a sad moan. I knew I needed to run, so I turned again to the door leading outside, but was met with Nurse Henry. "What is going on here?" he said, standing in front of me, blocking my way. And somehow, there it was again, that eerie smile of his. How do you have the energy to smile all day?" I snarled at him. "You murdered my friend. This place, you are all creeps. Stay away from me!" I shouted and started stepping back, slowly. "Look, Miss Brown, I have no idea what you are talking about. I hope we don't have a problem here," he said, pulling a fake, exaggerated tone of upset. I clenched my fists and said, "Just look! The cleaning closet! Over there!" and prepared myself to look at the ungodly side of my dead friend. But as I turned my head, I faced nothing but a spotless white closet door in front of me and a shining clean floor beneath me. But, I whimpered. "Yes?" "Nothing," I said, shaking. Actually, Miss Brown, there was something I forgot to ask you. That's why I followed you out here, Nurse Henry said. What is it? I said, my heart still racing. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was wondering, would you like to have dinner sometime? He said with the most charming look yet in his face. I looked straight into his eyes and again felt that strange hypnotizing sensation that made me drawn to him. With you? Why not? The words escaped my lips before I had even noticed it. Excellent. I do enjoy a meal out every now and then. It's refreshing. Here's my number. Let's keep in touch, he said, placed an ice-cold kiss on my cheek, and left. What was going on? Why had I agreed? I shook my head and was glad to walk out of there. A few days went by, and I was sure that either one was true. One, Cassie was dead, and all the nurses were murderers. Or two, I had been imagining it all, and my friend had just ditched me for some good old fun at the local club and had been enjoying a hefty hangover for the past few days. So when I got a text from Cassie that she was coming to meet me, I was more than relieved. Thank God, I said and went to open the door for her. There she was, wearing thick sunglasses, pale as ever. To my amazement, she just smiled awkwardly without saying much. Why are you just standing there? Come on in, I said and shook my head in amusement. I asked her what had happened, and she told a story that was much alike the one I had come up with on my own. I knew that. Look, I just got a bit worried. You were supposed to meet me and then all weekend, no text? You can't believe what kind of weird ideas I got. Like what? She asked me, smiling. Well, first of all, the blood donation was a disaster. They were all creeps there. Please don't laugh, but Yes, tell me. What is it? She said, and her grin deepened. I thought I saw things. It must have been the blood loss. I thought they were all vampires there. You know, trying to get my blood, I said, and started to laugh at my own stupid fantasies. Yeah, that's funny, she said, and laughed with me. So, at one point, I thought they'd gotten you. I completely panicked for nothing. I snickered and shrugged. Yeah, that's really funny, Cassie replied, breathing out a relieved long sigh, still smiling. I stopped and stared at her, my face turning to the color of ash. That's funny, 'cause it's true, she said and let the door open, revealing a familiar face waiting outside, all the while showing off her set of new sharpened teeth. Come on in, Henry. Dinner's ready. The end. So, I hope you liked the story. Please like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, if you're interested in my other platforms, there are links down below in the description box. See you next time.